Hi, everyone. I'm Kennan.
I'm Filippo.
And welcome to another episode of Live Now, where Filippo and I talk about cars that are live on Cars and Bids. Before we get going, we have some big news. Cars and Bids has an app.
That we do. If you go to the Apple App Store right now on your iPhone or iOS device, you can download the Cars and Bids app, get push notifications, all sorts of fun things. Kennan, have you downloaded the app?
Of course I have. I have it set for E39 M5 notifications, God's chariot. So anytime one goes live on the site, my phone tells me.
If you want to be like Kennan or any other cool person, go to the App Store or click the link in the description below to download the Cars and Bids app right now.
Welcome back,
Filippo. Thank you. We have chosen very different cars this time.
Yeah, this one is pretty extreme, but we're going to start with some cars that close whilst you're away. So we're going to start with this. So Audi RS5 cab. Nick and I talked about this one last week, and it sold for 31 grand, which to me feels like this is a really good car for 30 grand.
It's such a good car, 35.
It's so good. And this one, the reasons it was so important was that it was Sprint Blue, which is incredible. California owned its whole life, and it was just a nice car. But for 31, like that is a really enticing
I looked at some
package.
comps. This is actually really strong. Like the color brought the money that you expected to. Mm-hmm. But it seems like a deal.
It does seem like a
450
deal.
horsepower, a great V8. I know it's an automatic, which probably hurts a little bit, but like it's a gorgeous looking car. And it's a 4-3 convertible, which is rare.
It is, indeed.
In this world.
And so it brought good money, and to be honest with you, I think it definitely deserves to do so. Another car that brought good money was this Ferrari F8 Tributo. So last week we had an F8 and a 296 on the site at the same time, and this one brought $307,500, which is a big number for us. But I think it sold very well, and it kind of speaks. These cars are really desirable. The last non-hybrid V8 Ferraris. And so, like, this sort of tracks. Now, granted, like, the sticker prices for these cars could eat well in the fours, generally speaking. So they are depreciated a little bit, but I mean, man, I think it's so cool.
It depreciated like you'd expect.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've had a lot of Ferraris in Cars and Bids lately.
Yes,
you know
I'm thrilled.
You know my biggest takeaway? I
don't buy one.
Learn about Ferraris now.
Wow,
there's sadness about that.
Wow,
I've avoided it thus far. But I don't know enough about that face. I have to look up a bunch of things.
Right. Well, this one had some modifications. The wheels and I think were one. The exhaust was another. It had some ones, but the wheels honestly not too bad. But it sold for fair money, and I think I'm always really glad. I'm sure you are to see like really expensive stuff.
I mean, in the last couple of weeks, we had this F8, we had an FF, we had an A12 GTS, we had a Cali T, a 550. A F355, a 328, 599. Good stuff. All that sold, which is incredibly exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Very strong. Happy with that. And the last one I want to talk about is a quasi-Ferrari, and that was the Modena Spyder. So this one was bid to 150 grand. We sold it after for a little bit more than that. But I think this is so cool for $150,000. A lot of money. But again, the real thing is millions and millions and millions of dollars. Plus you have this one wasn't in the movie, but you have the Ferris Bueller thing attached to it.
Yeah, and it looks so good. It looked like an incredibly well done replica. Yeah. With like a powertrain that makes sense.
Makes sense.
That you can use.
And you can use it and enjoy it.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, moving on to the ones for this week, though.
We continue with
the
Ferrari
start with Ferrari. I didn't intend for this to be all Ferraris.
Did you?
I'm not complaining. But anyway, yes, so the one I want to call out for this week, 1999 Ferrari F355 Spyder. Now, what's interesting about this is in 1998, the F1 transmission came out for the 355. So most 98s and 95s, people wanted that. It was the new, hot, cool thing.
Can you imagine?
No, I've driven it. It's not as bad as you would think, but that does not mean it is good, and it is not better than
it's all the people wanted when a gated manual was available.
Yes, exactly. It was cool, but this one has a 6-speed, so it's rare that you get a late one. The other cool thing about the late one, you could get shields on them, which was cool. I don't believe you could on the earlier ones. At least I've certainly never seen it. I'm
so early in my learning about Ferrari and why people care about the shields, but hey.
Patience, grasshopper, you will learn. But the 99, they'd worked out a lot of kinks with the car by that time, and so I'm not saying that they are reliable. Just final model year. Yeah, in the 360's first model year. But they'd worked out a lot of kinks with the car, and so to be honest with you, like the late ones are really desirable. And so this one, I expect it will perform pretty well on the site. It's up to 50 grand as of right now. I'm sure it will be up to more later on, but man, still one of the most beautiful cars. Yeah.
It is a gorgeous car. Black works on it, legitimately.
Yeah.
In 1999, you could buy a 360 or an F355.
Imagine making the choice to buy a 360. The 99 360s have a lot of problems too, but the departure.
At the time, you would have wanted a 360, the new one.
Yeah.
This was a bold choice. This was like buying a Malibu Classic.
True.
So the new Malibu in 2013. or whatever year that came out.
Okay, I'll let you have that one. I have no idea what you're saying.
No, it's not
now.
at all like that. This is a gorgeous car.
It is a beautiful car. So I'm again, as a former owner, always excited to see 355s on the site, and we'll certainly see what it goes for. But switching to another mid-engined European car, Filippo,
this is the one car of my choices that Kennan, I think, has some interest in. They go wild from here.
Okay.
The Stradman, one of our favorite YouTubers, is selling his Emira, which is very exciting. First of all, we love the Stradman. I watch a lot of his videos personally on both Stradman and Strad, his second channel. If you're not aware of it, you should.
Filippo's a big fan.
I'm a big fan. He's selling his Emira. I also have subtly become very into the Emira. I don't know when this happened. Well, think about it. It will depreciate. It hasn't yet, really. There aren't
that many.
There aren't that many out. But I think it's a great looking car.
It is.
It's a powerful enough V6, 400 horsepower. It's a stick. It looks great. Seneca blue is an awesome color. Mm-hmm. I'm like, considering it. Like mentally for the future. mentally for the future
when these cars depreciate.
But I legitimately think it's a gorgeous car. As somebody that legitimately does watch Strad's videos, love seeing his house and garage in the background of the photos. And it's just a very cool car. He has done only like one minor modification, an exhaust, and I'm just excited to have it on the site.
I love when YouTubers bring their cars to the site. It just feels right, seeing as Doug founded the site. It's cool to see them. And the Emira to me is a very desirable car. Like, I love the packaging in general. Manual transmission is so critical, and the V6 is the one you want. They do offer it with a 4, also completely visually indistinguishable.
Correct.
You have
the V6 is the one you want.
The V6 is the one you want. You have to look in the engine bay to see.
Know?
Yes, there's nothing on the exterior.
If I buy a 4-cylinder, nobody would know.
Nope.
I could claim to all of you.
That is correct. Until you start, and then it's like,
until you start.
Okay. But truly, legitimately, the only way to tell is to look at the engine and see it says V6 on it.
What does it say if it's not V6? If it's inline 4?
I don't know. It might just say i4. It might just say Lotus. To be honest,
I hope it doesn't say i4. That's somehow
they probably just grind. Lotus being Lotus, they probably just grind off. That's enough.
Stradman James has not driven this car very much. 1,300 miles.
It's basically new.
It's basically new. But with an exhaust, which it sounds like these kind of need from a sound perspective. I legitimately think they're a gorgeous car.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm certainly excited to see it on the site. Surprised that was a pick of yours, but nonetheless, it is something. Now
I'm subtly, legitimately into it.
Okay.
Yep.
Now we'll stick with the theme of YouTubers. Tell us about this car, Filippo.
Well, sure. So this is a 2008 Volkswagen New Beetle. The thing that's most notable about it is that it does have the little vase holder in the center dash, as all New Beetles had. This is owned and being sold by a gentleman who goes by Slick Stevie online. He's a short form creator, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Great. I also do legitimately watch his videos, and they're a little outside my norm. But he bought this on Cars and Bids a few months ago. Added the Irby fully loaded style wrap, and did not all that much else. And it just looks so cool. It was a crazy Baja style build from the get go. The wrap, I think, just sets it a little bit over the top.
That it does.
And I don't think I want to be seen in it, but I want to be friends with somebody that owns it.
Which is perfect for social media. You want to live vicariously through the person that has it and not have to own it.
Isn't it so cool?
It is cool. I remember
the exhaust out the back. I
remember preparing the images for it the last time it was on the site. And obviously I'm into exotic cars, but when we have just crazy weird stuff, I really like seeing that. And
go to that rear photo.
Yeah, imagine pulling up behind that at a stop.
And you have the exhaust.
The Florida plate just really fits perfectly. That really sends it home.
What do you think those taillights are from?
That is a good question. I'm not exactly sure. Nothing that I know. But yeah, what a weird contraption.
Yep.
That's the best way I can describe it. But
and I love it.
Love weird builds like that. So sticking with another one of your cars. Explain to me why you picked this car for this week. Defend it.
Easily. All right. This is a Nissan March Cabriolet.
Okay.
Right. The March was also called the Micra in Europe and presumably other markets. Growing up, till I was 8, I lived in Italy. I lived in like an apartment building, and most people in Italy do. There's a little road that was where we parked, and my mom drove a Fiat Punto, 2-door. And the person that parked next to us always, these weren't assigned. This just was the hierarchy of the apartment building, I guess. Drove a Nissan Micra. And I just have a fondness for them. This is a Cabriolet version, which I think just takes it. It was like a cute-ish car. It was just like a normal city car. But the Cabriolet takes it the next level Look at that roll bar, which, if we're being honest, I wouldn't want to see in action.
No.
It's color matched, though. It looks so cool. Look at the seats. Like, it's all just so... This one's, I assume, imported from Japan. But
yes.
I think the upholstery was the same in all of them. Or there were many variants, but like the same style in Europe. And it's so 90s city car.
Yeah,
it's like nostalgic for me and just so cool.
Yeah, yeah. I don't really have much to add to that. I get the nostalgia play for you here. I would imagine this will not sell for a ton as a lot of these cars.
No, like if you want a little convertible, like you could buy the one that was for sale in the US, which was I'm trying to think about like the American equivalent would be that like matches.
Well,
the
for me, it's like I just get
heart.
the Metro vibes from this, like the
RSI. It is very Geo Metro convertible.
Yeah.
Just a little newer. It's like the more modern by a decade geometric convertible.
Yeah. Which we've also sold a number of Metro convertibles.
We have actually.
Or LSI, excuse me, not RSI. That's the Volkswagen.
It's like a similar vibe. Cheerful, small, cheap, fun. You know my favorite thing about the March Cabriolet listing, though? We apparently have noted that the power comes from a CG13DE inline 4. Because if there's one thing that we needed to know, it is the engine code for the inline 4.
Well, we like the details.
We do like the details.
Cars and Vids, and
I legitimately find this unexpectedly charming.
Yeah,
I unexpectedly charming.
Well, you know, Filippo, it's no reserve. You could relive your childhood, and you could be the person who parks in the alleyway.
The last time a Fiat Punto came out, I bid on it. I don't know that I feel enough of a connection to title this illegally in a different state because we live in California. But it's close.
It's close.
It's close.
Okay, I'm going to switch.
Did you enjoy my little...
I really did.
My weird
cute,
car
charming,
choices are not over.
Very down-to-earth car. Let's talk about a supercar. So we moved to the Ultima GTR. I don't think you could think of a more antithetical car to this. So Ultima...
No, I got nothing for this one. Tell me why it's cool.
So Ultima, if you're unfamiliar, this is a company that built chassis, basically. They would send them to the US and you would put an engine in it. So they could get around some things, we'll put it that way. And people went nuts. This particular one happens to have an American speed-built 7-liter V8 making 806 horsepower and 606 foot-pounds of torque. Now, this car weighs just over 2,000 pounds.
We have a weight. That's insane.
Yes, these cars are insanely light. And so that is a ridiculous amount of horsepower for a car of this weight class.
My Fiat 500 Abarth weighs something like 2,500 pounds.
Yes.
It has 160 horsepower.
Right. Now, I wouldn't call the interior of this car, luxurious. This thing is not... This makes your Fiat look like a Bentley, to be honest with you. But... the point of this car is power to weight.
Look at that shifter.
That shifter. Yeah, look how mechanical. That link, there's no play. You know exactly what that shifter feels like. You're doing something.
There is play. You tighten that bolt and you're good.
Yeah, or the bolt is falling out because it's kind of a kick guard thing. But this is... I remember reading about these cars. And look at how insane that engine looks. It's just crazy. This car is I don't know how to say this anyway. It is a death trap, and you have to really be afraid to use it.
But in the best way possible.
In the best way possible. The person who buys this wants the ultimate performance driving experience, and this thing, I'm sure, will give you all the terrifying performance you're looking for.
You've stripped down a sports car to its purest form, which is the lightest you can get, because there's no extraneous weight.
Nope.
Insane power, and presumably pretty durable, reliable,
simple
power,
at the very least, yeah.
And a Porsche 6-speed, which have a good reputation. Mm-hmm. And you just you want the best of each of the components to be a performance car. Yeah,
and ultimately it looks crazy. It will drive like a crazy car. I'm sure. I don't know exactly what you do with this because that is so much power for the street. I guess you take it on the track is what you.
I don't know. It has air conditioning.
This one is titled for street use, so you can be the insane person who shows up to Cars and Coffee in this thing. But man,
and also I was wrong about it being fully stripped out. It does have air conditioning.
Thank God for that. Just like the F40.
This is in some ways the modern F40. Think about it.
Right. I mean, okay. That's a stretch. But it is an insane. Look at that front. Wild. That pulls up behind you. You dive out of the way for that.
You really do. It looks like a Le Mans car. I don't know.
There is a little bit of LMP-ness to it, for sure. But yeah, I don't disagree with the mirrors up here too. Yeah, very cool car. Cool. Excited to see what that brings on the site. All right. My last car, sticking with the enthusiast film. So this is...
What have I been doing? They've all been enthusiast cars.
So this is an S54 powered clown shoe. So the Z3, the M Coupe as it was called, the final generation of the last couple of years of production, it got the S54 straight six found in the E46 M3, slightly detuned, and it also had a 5-speed manual, not a 6-speed found in the E46. But the reason I bring this up is these cars have come down quite a bit in value recently. Oh yeah. Which is exciting because they're awesome cars. But
I believe they're all under Z3 now.
Yeah, Z3 M Coupe. But for the S54 cars, which were from 01 only, so this one was bid to 54, but looking at like an 02, sold for 40, that one had miles on it. And the S52 cars are great too, but the S54s, like they've settled down pretty substantially, but we haven't sold an S54 powered one in a while. And so I'm kind of curious where this car ends up because I really like these cars and I would love to have one at some point. Undoubtedly BMW, one of BMW's quirkiest designs. I would say it's quirkiest design, especially from the modern era.
The Z4 Coupe exists.
The Z4 Coupe exists, but it's not as insane as this.
Prettier. I think this is a gorgeous car.
I think that side profile is one of the finest. That's just cool.
Fully agree.
That's cool.
The fender flares are great. The hash just ends.
Well, and kind of speaking to the terms of the car that the Ultima. This is also a very lightweight car, and you put over 330 horsepower.
With 800 horsepower to Z3 M Coupe.
Well, that's kind of a kit car. I think this is a factory built car. But no, I think that these things are highly desirable, and I'm excited to see them kind of cooled down a little bit so they've come back to reality. But
this seems like a nice one. 63,000 miles.
Yeah.
A few modifications, but relatively minor ones, including an exhaust, the stock exhaust.
Look at that. How cool is that? So come on.
Looks so good. You were considering one for a minute.
Yeah, as a daily. I was
still thinking about it?
But then I drove one. I had an E36 M3 before. Which
you sold on Cars and Bids.
I did sell it on Cars and Bids. That car was, I think, rattle can is the nicest way I can put that interior. Not a nice interior. This car, a lot of similar components. And so it's not the nicest place to spend time. Yes, this interior, they offered the Z3
interior is one of the cooler BMW interior designs of the early 2000s.
It is. And the Coupe in particular, because I don't know if there's a picture of it.
It has heated seats.
Yeah, heated seats. They were optional, but this one does have it. I don't know if there's a good picture of it. I don't think there is, although this one got the upgraded sound system, but the Harman Kardon sound system. But they put speakers behind you on the roof. Was like a thing that they did. It's just an incredibly weird and funky car, and that engine is one of the greatest 6-cylinders. So always excited to see these cars on the site, and very excited to see where this one ends up.
I'm sorry, I'm mentally going in my head through which BMW interiors I think are cooler.
This is one. The Z8 is pretty cool because it's got the cluster in the middle.
There are gauges. There are a lot of different interior colors for the center stack.
Yeah, these 3 gauges here.
Yep.
That are in the center console are really cool.
And you legitimately do find a bunch of different colors, and it's held up well too. In most that I've seen,
they look. Yeah, they certainly look nice. But yeah,
how cool.
Yep, I will be curious to see where it ends up. Now,
that was a car you could buy in 2001. I'm going to show you a car you could have bought new in 1999.
Before the Modena.
In 1999. Okay. So really the same era. And
very different.
Pontiac Firebird Trans Am WS6 30th Anniversary Edition convertible.
Hell yeah, brother.
Quite a name.
It is a long
How much
name.
do you know about these?
Very little. I remember my abiding memory of these was just seeing them driven around northeastern Ohio by divorced dads who are going to buy cigarettes. That's what I think of when I think of these
This is driven around by like the most successful divorced dads who are going to buy cigarettes, which is different. This is like the ultimate one.
Okay.
WS6 was the performance package.
Yes.
This also has the Ram Air performance and handling package, which is its induction, adds exhaust, adds a specifically tuned sports suspension, etc. And then this also has the 30th anniversary package.
What did that give you?
Things that are very period correct.
Okay, Let's
call it that way. Well, for example, the wheels. You might think, these are aftermarket wheels. No, they were blue tinted from the factory. This is indeed the factory wheel.
Wow.
You also got a navy top because it's convertible. You got white Prado leather seating surfaces with blue embroidery.
Oh.
No, that actually looks okay.
Oh my God.
The 30th anniversary thing, and in the door panels, it also says 30th anniversary.
Wow.
And floor mats and an interior plaque.
Wow, this one is nice.
And I think the stripe came with it, or may have been like the exterior striping was also
extra.
No, it was also 30th anniversary package.
Okay.
So this is very blue. The wheels are blue.
The logo
top
is blue.
The logo is blue.
Blue.
But this is like the one. Truly. I know that the blue is maybe a special decision in this moment. But this is the one. Truly. And this is the one today. It has 4,700 miles, one owner in California from new. It is running 4F plates for those that are in the know. It's fully unmodified. It's a stick. This is like the one you want.
Right.
It's a 5.7 liter LS1 V8, 6-speed manual. And it's like
these do
the one.
Bring money too.
Yeah, they're
desirable
worth something.
Cars.
Yeah.
But those blue wheels, man, that is tough. Which would you rather be seen in less yourself? The Bug that we talked about, or the new Beetle, or this?
I would be happy to be seen in either. I would rather drive this.
This is, to be honest with you,
this is like legitimately a performance car.
I drove a WS6 we had at the exotic car dealership I worked at that had 41 miles on it.
Wow.
I mean, I put a mile on it. I was very careful.
Oof.
I'll tell you what, that shifter is nice. That V8 feels amazing. I actually really enjoyed the driving experience. Now, the materials aren't very nice. Kind of what you expect from that here.
It's what you got.
But I'll tell you, to be honest with you, it drives
They're kind of looked down on in the world of late 90s, early 2000s performance cars, but they should not be, because they were legitimate performance cars. With the Ram Air performance and the handling packages especially, like they were legitimately great cars.
Yeah, I actually do agree with that point. And this one is mint. Look at that interior. That is...
Yeah.
I'm just like shocked at how good that is. So
now I'm picturing owning and having in my garage a 1999 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am WSX 30th Anniversary Edition convertible and a 1999 Nissan March Cabriolet.
Well, luckily this one has a reserve on it, so you can't bid on it. So that will be just part of your imagination.
Alas, I know that my choices are very different than Kennan's choices, especially today.
Boy, howdy are they.
I stand by every single one of them, and I want the people that buy these cars to email me pictures of them driving them around, please.
So again, that you can get that ownership experience just vicariously through someone else. Well, those are our choices for this week of the cars, for the cars that are live now on Cars and Bids. And if you've been in the market for any of these, you can go to carsandbids.com, or you can use the Cars and Bids app.
You can download the app
to bid on these cars that are live on the site now. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will talk to you next week. Goodbye.